Mm.
So, this should be live right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 26 of The Jaded Talk. Today, we're going to talk about two stories. that is, I think,
There are definitely two stories.
they are I'll give them that. They are stories. It's Outbound Flight and Mist Encounter. Once again, joined by Pico. Yeah. Initial thoughts. Let's not beat around the bush.
One of these stories is pretty good.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah.
One of them, yeah. The other one is not that, but one of them's pretty good.
Yeah, one is reasonably entertaining. It still has kind of what the other story, which isn't really that good, suffers from, but it's definitely different and better. Funny you should say that because we're talking about Outbound Flight, so coincidence? I think not. Yeah, it is not I'm not down. I'm not playing this up when I say that this book so far is the most disappointing one. Very specifically, it's the most disappointing one. Because, and I said this on the Discord already, every other book that we've read so far kind of turned out the way I expected them to be. So I wasn't disappointed at, I don't know, JT, because it was what I expected, which is something I hated and shit. This book, I don't know why. I guess the lack of knowledge about this book was probably it. But I expected actually quite a lot from this, especially together with Survivor's Quest. I thought hey, Sabayoth from the Thrawn trilogy, he really isn't a character. I mean, he's a mad clone. But this is the story where we get him in the prequel era, so we get a chance to see who is this character? He's basically a blank slate. You can do whatever you want with him because nothing from his prequel time really is all that established. And of course, the Outbound Flight. I thought okay, there'll be a really heavy focus on this thing, flying out there, maybe meeting some lesser known cultures already, interacting with them, and then at some point something goes horribly wrong and it gets destroyed. This is really not what this book gave me. And yeah, I thought very interesting self-contained book, and it turned out way, way, way worse than this. And it's really sad because it really did not need to be this way, but it did. Yeah, so we have the title. No, first we have the cover. So, the cover, it does show the Outbound Flight. So, that is good that they use this. The title is Outbound Flight, which arguably is kind of incorrect because at some point at some point when I reached the half, the half point mark of this book, I was like, where the hell is the Outbound Flight? It's talked about basically since the beginning of the book, but it kind of really did not appear in any way. And I'm wait, what's hello? Is anything gonna happen? And at some point it did, really, really right at the end. So yeah, you see the Outbound Flight here. It's the 6 dreadnoughts and the middle part here. Yeah, title borderline incorrect. The German title is it was Die Kundschafter, so the Scouts. It's more or less the same problem where it's the Scouts that they talk about, which I assume is all the passengers on the Outbound Flight. They are really not the focus of this book, or not in the way in which they should have been. And yeah, that's really all there is to say. So I'll just jump in and we'll see where this is going. So chapter 1. We get introduced to 3 people, and looking back to it, this was the beginning of the downfall. I just didn't realize. We have 3 people called, one is called Quento, the other one is called Maurice, and the third one is a character we already know. It's Cardas. Now, I think bringing in Cardas is already kind of a weird idea. Like, I don't know. I guess it's to connect the entire, almost duology with Vision of the Future, because he's a character which is from that duology, but I don't know. Okay, yeah, fine, fair enough. But those 3 characters, I was like, what exactly is their purpose? Because as it's gonna turn out, that's no spoiler. They are not from the Outbound Flight. So you're like, what are you
nothing to do with the Outbound Flight.
Literally nothing.
They're not on it. They're not going to be on it. They're just there to hype up Thrawn.
Yeah.
I guess drown him.
Yep. Yes, they are not present in New Republic territory, so they don't even know any of this is happening. So it's not even like they have any interest outside commentary on the Outbound Flight. They are clueless characters who have nothing to do with the main story, really. Or I guess they do, because the Chiss part is the main story, unfortunately. But yeah, they are there. They are on a ship called Bargain Hunter, and they are fleeing from a Hutt who's called Praga. Both their ships eventually get disabled by a yet unknown third party, and boy, what a third party it turned out to be. There was really nothing to it. They have a fight, they get chased around, a third party enters, they disable both of them. Chapter 2. They get called to the strange ship that attacked, and it's filled by Chiss. And one of those Chiss is Thrawn. Once again, looking back at it, this was the second sign that this was going to fall apart, and I just didn't know it yet. There was not a lot to say at this point. Now that I'm rereading my notes, sweet, where I thought like, oh, these interactions are like okay, they're nice. So at this point, it's kind of tense because you don't really know what the Chiss are up to. So that's kind of mystery is like, okay, what's gonna happen? But yeah, they're on this ship. They get asked like, hey, what the fuck are you doing here? And specifically, Cardas gets singled out to tell them the truth, which is they are merchants, but at times they're smugglers. Thrawn determines that, judging by the size of the ship and considering they couldn't cover their costs, like the ship costs, if they were just merchants, that they can't just be merchants. I was like, okay, that's a like that deduction you can like follow reasonably. It's like, okay, I guess I can see why he would think this. So I was like,
and it's
okay,
the only reasonable deduction in this story.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like this doesn't follow the ship class that is like a normal merchant would use, and with just usual merchant like activities, you couldn't cover your costs. Although considering he's from another galaxy, I wonder how he knows about costs. But splitting hairs, whatever. He knows about the costs, and it's like, okay, that doesn't work. Fine, yeah, sure. Cardas, he. This is already where I'm gonna won't be able to quite follow what exactly is happening anymore, because Cardas now gets singled out, and he will be taught Minisiat, which is like a trade language that
the just trade language or something like that.
Yeah, which like other people from like they can reasonably understand that, because the native tongue of the Chiss, what was it called, like Cheon or something, that's too difficult to pronounce, so they can kind of find middle ground there. And in turn, Thrawn wants to learn basic from him. That's just what we have for now.
Right now, they're both speaking Cybisti. I think you forgot to mention that.
Yeah, exactly. So there is, I think it's also trade language or something, or like an outer rim language or something,
like a wild space or outer rim trade language.
Exactly, which is like close enough to both of their native places where they like both can understand that, because Thrawn can't speak basic and they can't speak Cheon, like whatever you would pronounce it, this language. And we'll just let this stand here for now. We'll go to chapter 3, which is the third red flag. Looking back to it, we get introduced to two people. One is Sabayoth, who of course we know already from the Thrawn trilogy.
Is it Sabayoth in this one, or is it Sabath? Or it's not very clear.
It's kind of, you're free to determine that for yourself. Yeah, so I guess the book wants you to believe that this is the original Sabayoth. And we get introduced to his Padawan, who we've also heard about already in Savala's Quest, which is Lorana Jinsler. He has a very, very specific purpose, which is to get funding for the Outbound Flight project that he more or less spearheaded from the Senate and also from Palpatine. Fine enough for now. The elephant in this room, like in the first chapter already, was his personality. Which, that's putting it mildly. So he is very, very clearly a zealot about his beliefs, about specifically his feelings of superiority, about being a Jedi. He hates, the faceless bureaucrats from the Galactic Republic, which interfere with his affairs and try to hinder him from starting the outbound flight, which, sure, fair enough. Hating bureaucrats, yeah, okay. And he feels like he needs to instill respect in people, almost like fear, more so. Specifically because he's a Jedi. And at this moment, I was still pretty diplomatic about his characterization, because I'm like, okay, essentially, from the movies, how we know it so far, the galaxy kind of very easily turned on the Jedi. Public opinion turned on them pretty easily, or at least as far as we know. And to justify this, there probably needs to be there needs to be a whole lot more people like him who are annoying, who are kind of ruthless, who are zealots, who have a superiority complex. It's obviously not good that a Jedi is like this, but I was like, fair, you're kind of set with the solution, which is Jedi get betrayed and get killed, and people are fine with it, so you need to put that into, you need to prepare for that. But yeah, it's obviously not good that he is the way he is, and we'll see what this means applied to the story later on, so we'll just leave it here for now. Yeah, Mace Windu, he sends Obi-Wan and Anakin along with Sabayoth, who's sent away to solve a mining dispute, which is basically supposed to earn him favors with the Senate, so people are gonna, be more willing to give him the funding that he wants, since we also learn that Palpatine himself does want him to go on the outbound flight mission, or I guess Sidious, wants it. So the thing is, he's looking specifically for a very big army, and what Mace suspects, or Mace and Obi-Wan, both of them suspect, is that he wants a big army to also look for the Gia. Now that's, I think, the first time I've read this name so far in Star Wars, obviously. Yeah, but apparently, yeah, that's just it. You know, you've read about the Gia, obviously, more than I. Did you from this alone kind of understand what this whole Vegeta thing was about, because I don't feel like I did.
I think it's just a reference to Rogue Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Because by that point she's already gone, or like right at Rogue Planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm not gaslighting myself. This is after Rogue Planet, right?
It is after Rogue Planet. Yeah,
okay,
Rogue
then, then yeah, it has to be that, because I don't know what else it could be.
I guess so. Yeah, exactly. So apparently Sabayoth really does want to look for Vegeta, and it seems like the way I understood it, that the Jedi basically believe that Vegeta is dead, whereas Sabayoth doesn't seem to be convinced, I guess. So that's partially the reason why he wants to send her, like, to send an army with the Outbound Flight, but also his main goal is there is an outside threat to the galaxy. It doesn't quite get specified what exactly. It's just there is an outside threat, and we need to go out there and, like, I don't know, colonize planets and prepare for doom or whatever. Yeah. Oh, he also wants to specifically build up a Jedi presence outside the influence of the Galactic Republic, which I guess is fair enough. But then again, like, if the Galactic Republic funds this project, I assume they would like to have, like, reasonable control over this, so that whole thing just, like, cancels each other out. Because sure, you're leaving, like, Coruscant, but you'll go somewhere which will inevitably turn into a Galactic Republic sphere of influence. Whatever, that was just his goal. He wants to go out there. Yeah, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to know more about this, and maybe have more explanation about why Sabayoth is the way he is. A spoiler alert, that will never happen.
Yeah, he's just like this.
He just is like this. There is no, like, if there at least was some backstory given, I don't know, something horrific happened to him, and that's just the way he turned out. Maybe, like, at least I have something to work with. But here I have nothing. He just is the way he is, and people, I guess,
they're just fine with it. I guess he has, like, this is like his fourth Padawan, right?
I think so. Yeah, he had a few. Yeah,
and they just keep feeding him Padawans.
Yeah,
and he's like, why?
Like, unironically, I don't see the reasoning why Anakin wouldn't be made into a master. Looking at Sabayoth, I feel like Anakin is more reasonable than Sabayoth as a person. Honestly, like,
Palpatine did nothing wrong. Okay,
I mean, he obviously did not. Yeah. So that's just it. Chapter 4, and yeah. Memes aside, this is where it actually turned out to shit, because the status quo that we're establishing now is what's gonna stay until the very end of the book, and it's not gonna be flipped around or something. This is what it's gonna happen until the story just ends. Maurice and Cardus have basically started simping for the Chiss. They are preparing the Crustai system, something we know from Survivor's Quest, for possible colonization. While Quento gets treated basically like a pouting child, even though, this is kind of a thing that never gets really addressed anymore, which is the Chiss attacked them. Like, they went there with a ship, they attacked their ship, and now they brought them onto their ship. So, like, that is just ignored. So that'll never get resolved in any way.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I mean, it's Zahn's book, obviously.
It is Zahn's book. That's true.
Yeah. It's not ours. So who are we? The Quento characterization is pure gaslighting, because it's very, very obvious that the book wants you to believe that he's like the brash and unreasonable one in this whole operation, like, of the three of them, when it's clear that he's, I mean, most of the time at least, he also at some point gives up because of something that's going to happen. But he's like the only reasonable one for now, which is, hey, like, not only do we have a task to fulfill, which has like a time limit, like we need to get our fucking cargo going. No, we just also should escape from here. And they don't see what he's saying. It's like, wait, but he's normal. He's right. Why aren't you leaving? Like why the fuck would Thrawn want specifically you as a basic teacher? There's no reason for that. What the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, that's kind of what's happening now. Yeah, so there is a fight with another faction we know already, which is the Vogari. They are pirates and slave traders. We know that already. And they have a ship full of treasures. Now this is happening what I meant. So even though Quento wants to go quickly, there seems to be a promise that, like, somewhat of an implicit promise that if they stay on this ship longer than they intend to, they can like exponentially get more and more from this, like a bigger chunk of the treasure for themselves. Because they're like, we're gonna be late. That means we need to compensate our client. And yeah, that's basically the only reason Quento for now is like fine with staying. Yeah, and that's really it. The two of them, Maurice and Cardas, they have been they really have been convinced too quickly of the Chiss period, like not even any specific thing, just the Chiss and Thrawn specifically. Maurice, so that's another thing which feels like a gaslight to me. Maurice is constantly described as an idealist, like, somebody who like really wants to stand up for the right thing and whatnot. The thing is, there is no proof of that being true. Like, she says it all the time, like, oh, Galactic Republic Jedi, and there's problems with that because this, and this. But then if push comes to shove and it's the time to act, she does nothing. So this idealism, like the claim that she's an idealist, is wrong. Yeah. And I already wrote down here, quote, my enjoyment will depend on how long this specific period of time goes on or how they make sense of their characters. Yeah, sometimes I'm really prophetic. I was like, hey, if this goes on for like 2 or 3 more chapters and then they're gone again, sure, whatever. Yeah, it never turned out that way. And I guess I should have realized, because it's literally the first characters we get introduced to. Of course they're not going to just disappear. Then again, I hope maybe they were going to get I guess I'm just going to call it the Morith duel treatment, which is he's there until he's not, and he's not mentioned again. That would have been fine. Or, I mean, it wouldn't have been, but it would have been better. Yeah, this is not what we got, but more later. Chapter 5. So, yeah, Sabaoth leaves Lorana with Obi-Wan and Anakin on the planet that they're on, which is called Barlog, while he negotiates. Like, there's a mining dispute going on there, and that's just kind of the reason he's there. So we get a bit of characterization about who Lorana even is. She seems like she's somewhat insecure as a Padawan, and specifically about her abilities. Yeah, and apparently though she has picked up like how Sabaoth, or like even some actual civilians apparently believe that they are indeed inferior to Jedi. And this has kind of given her, like, there's a brief scene where she almost seems to accept that teaching as true, that she is superior as just as a being. But that also kind of, I mean, obviously nothing really happens out of this, and this just kind of gets forgotten that she briefly thought that. Maybe I also just misread it, and I honestly don't care. It's a minor thing, but that's kind of what I picked up. It's like, okay, she does believe it, because yes, Sabaoth has been teaching it to her for a while now. So Oh yeah, just for for clarification, I think Lorena is 22 in this book, and Anakin is 14. So it's like 5 years after Phantom Menace. Yeah, so somewhere around there. That's where the story picks up. Obi-Wan, he's like, this is the part where he's pretty cool actually, and kind of normal. He, he's like smart and quick-witted, which is kind of what you expect him to. They are in a bar, and he finds somebody who like he knows is going to be important to all of this happening there. So he goes to Anakin, like he sends Anakin to like pick up snacks for him, and those snacks are like pretty close to where they are sitting. So he has an excuse to go there himself and to listen to a guy called Risk, I guess. Risque, I don't know. He's the personal guard of the leader of the corporate alliance, so one of the two disputing parties on that planet. That's just what we get here. It's like, okay, he had an interesting idea there, sending Anakin first, then it's like, wait, hey, and he's following him. Like, cool, yeah. Chapter 6. Yeah, so Obi-Wan and Anakin lose Risk. Like at some point he just goes and they don't follow him. Yeah, exactly. He's the bodyguard of Pestle Argenta, I guess would be the name, or Argenti. He's there for the corporate alliance, yeah, and Lorena instead follows him herself. For, I don't know, I guess the assumption I would have is like to prove herself, like that she is actually talented. I think that's the only reason she would have had to follow him, because Obi-Wan didn't mention to her that this guy was important in any way. She just picked up that this is what he is implying by his actions, and so she follows him. She gets caught, of course, I guess, and yeah, he like interrogates her, and she starts like spilling, actually, like on whose mission is she here exactly, and for what reasons are you here. I mean, I guess she doesn't tell anything that's like super dangerous to know, but it's like, I don't know. I guess she accepted that she lost or something and started telling the truth. We learn about this guy, Risk. He's afraid of Argenta being under threat, but not by the Jedi. So there is some other party here who's going to be at work. So Obi-Wan just picks that up. He's like, okay. He goes around, and then there's a little crime scene that he witnesses, and he decides to investigate that. There is a kid which steals, which very specifically steals engines, little engines that are used commonly for self-built rockets, and that leads him to like, oh, okay, we know that there's probably gonna be an attempt somewhere, if even this guy here is afraid of it. So he starts following him around, which is like, okay, makes sense, sure. There is, I guess, I mean, it's a really minor scene, so it's kind of sad to say this, but I think we come to probably the best moment of the book, which doesn't mean a lot. Well, Lorena is like particularly like sad and I don't know, demotivated about her own abilities, and she opens up to Obi-Wan a bit there. She tells him like, oh, it's hard to please Sabaoth, like he's hard to please as a master, and she doesn't feel confident about doing the right thing as a knight. She isn't a knight yet, she's a Padawan, but she's supposed to be at one point, of course. She's 22 now. He just kind of listens to her and talks positively to her, and then there's a moment where they, like, that crime scene that happened, it evolves further. There is the child who stole something. He's going in one direction, and then there's an adult who he passed the machine parts to. He's going into another one, and she instinctively starts following the adult, and Obi-Wan lets her, because it's like, I guess she kind of needs the self-confidence, and stopping her and sending her after the child instead with Anakin would not be good for her. So instead he goes with Anakin and she goes to follow the adult alone. it's like, okay, it's not like she's a child, she's 22. Even though she only is a Padawan, it's understandable to be like, okay, fine, you can prove yourself in this case, follow him around alone. It's like, sure, why not? That's it's an important thing, but still, it's fine for her to do that. She's an adult. That was just kind of it here. Chapter 7. Anakin and Obi-Wan's target, so the teenager, they like that thing kind of leads nowhere. But there's people who are suspicious of Obi-Wan, so he pretends like Anakin, because Anakin is really interested in machines, obviously, that he was interested in this little work thing where the teen went to, and so he just starts to repair some machine to not make the others suspicious. They weren't following them around for some reason, just for this thing. Okay, sure. Lorena gets arrested by the people who are employed by a guy called Kinman Doriana. So Kinman Doriana is an assistant of the Chancellor, but he's also a double agent for Sidious. He does not know that Sidious is Palpatine, but that's what he is. As I said a few times in the comments coming up to this, I for once agree, because there literally is nobody else to blame but Zahn. I don't get the feeling that any of the things that were introduced in here were committee suggested. I think all of this was him, and I don't understand why, but we'll get there. So they are building a rocket. So the people surrounding Kim and Doriana, they want to kill Pascal Argenti, so that's their goal. They want to build a rocket which apparently is in a sensor shadow, so that when it starts flying, it won't get detected. I was like, okay, this could just be them BSing, but it's not. It turns out to be exactly the way it is. So I'm like, why is there a place that people? It's the same thing with Dala back in the day in Champions of the Force. It's like, if it's commonly known that there is something which your sensors cannot pick up, why don't you build something there so that doesn't happen? It seems as though he had a very easy time to figure out that this was a thing that existed. So the security forces there probably know that too, but I guess they just don't do anything about that. It's like, okay, this guy can launch rockets from there. Why aren't you doing anything? That's kind of dumb. Oh, rare Lucasfilm W then, because Obi-Wan and Anakin were the kind of best written characters, I guess. I wouldn't know who else to pick, so I never thought I'd say this, but good job on Lucasfilm. There you go. We're back with the trio. So Cardass, Maris, and Quento, they meet Formby. Formby is another character who we know from Survivor's Quest. He is not pleased to be here, and he's also not pleased that they are here. We get this discussion about the defense doctrine of the Chiss, which is probably the most normal thing about the Chiss. Because Thrawn believes that the Vagari, who haven't yet attacked the Chiss, but they keep attacking everyone else but them, that they should be attacked, which is something all the other Chiss do not agree with. It's like, okay, but yeah, we know about this thing. Formby has told this to us in Survivor's Quest, so that's nothing new or surprising here. Cardass, he is so there's a greeting ceremony. He's pretty impressed with the whole thing. I guess just the optics of how it looks. Maurice is not, because she despises corruption. I didn't quite get where that connection was coming from. She did say she doesn't have the patience for rituals of any kind. She has quite a lot of patience in staying there for no reason at all. So that's there. I was like, hey, maybe this means she can get a bit more wary of them. That does not happen at any point. So, oh well. My little innocent thoughts as I was going through a book, not knowing what I was gonna find. Chapter 8. Yeah, we're back on Barlock. Yes, Sabayoth is pretty obviously not amused that Lorana was lost. He suggests that Obi-Wan, could use the Force to make all the people who are involved in this whole thing, like to make them tell him where the kidnapper went. It's like, okay, this also sounds reasonable enough. I mean, Obi-Wan has used Jedi mind tricks, so, or I guess he's gonna use them, so that isn't quite fair. But yeah, sure, I guess that's an okay suggestion to make. Apparently, I did not know if that was always the case, and maybe I just didn't know, or if that's a newly established thing, that apparently Jedi can sense a lightsaber crystal, so like they can directly sense it in their lightsaber. I guess that's fine. Like, I was like, something about this sounds like, I shouldn't accept this, but I was like, okay, I guess it has no major influence on this in any particular way. But yeah, so what does happen is that Sabayoth is like, he didn't hear any news about a fight, which probably means that, okay, Lorana gave up without even fighting in the first place. That means she probably also left her lightsaber somewhere to not be identified. I was like, okay, yeah, that's also a reasonable deduction by him. So like, fine, yeah. They find her lightsaber, with the Force, because, like, I guess in very short distances they can feel the crystal. Then they use the Force to activate the lightsaber. They just wait for somebody like to come around there, like whoever was there before, and try and take that thing with them, so they can interrogate him instead. I don't know, looking back to it, if that makes sense, because like, even if you're a guy who has nothing to do with the whole kidnapping thing going on, it's like you see a lightsaber just glowing in the bushes somewhere as you're walking past that. I mean, I would probably look at what it is, and so but I guess this was their best bet, so sure. That sounds fail. It is Swedish, obviously. I don't speak Swedish, but I feel like I know what you said. I have to agree, unfortunately, because all the horrible things come from him here. So, oh well. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, Thrawn, he beat the Vagari in a battle. He is searching through the art pieces that they stole to determine, which are from which galaxy, more or less. And he does his art thing, where he like looks at art and is like, oh, they are this, and this. Like, okay, I guess this is a callback to the Thrawn trilogy. It's really nothing more than that. It leads to no tactical advantage. It's just, remember this, you've read the Thrawn trilogy.
I did read those books, actually.
Yeah, quite early on. Funny how that happened. And there's like, yes, this is the same as in this book, only this book, these books went shit. So, oh well. Chapter 9. Oh yes, something I kind of like, I could have known, but I just didn't think about, is that Obi-Wan has a green lightsaber. That was just an interesting fact to me. He doesn't have a blue one, obviously. And now this rocket attack happens, and it was really, really stupid. Okay, how do I even say this? So this thing flies, and obviously, but it can, I don't know, I think it could be like controlled in a way, and it can like fly around and dodge attacks and whatnot, so it's not flying in a straight line towards its target. So there's 4 Jedi there. There's Lorena, Sabayoth, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. Everyone but Sabayoth tries to attack that rocket with their lightsaber. Now, maybe, I mean, I'm no engineer, obviously. I have the resident engineer here. If there's like, there's like a rocket, it's, it makes boom boom. You strike it with a lightsaber. Wouldn't that like cause it to explode? Like right in their
Seeing
face?
as most explosive rockets, right? When they crash, they explode.
Mhm.
I would say yeah, probably, because it's probably filled with some sort of gas or other
Mhm.
explosives that explode on impact,
Yeah.
or heat, or anything.
It's either one of those, which, covers, like both of them cover the lightsaber. It's either impact or heat. Both of them apply. And only Sabayoth thinks about blocking that thing with the Force. It's like, wait, this was just a possibility. Like, if everyone tried that, and I guess, I mean, Obi-Wan is strong, but I guess he's kind of young still. So if you wanted to say, like, nobody has enough raw Force power in that moment but Sabayoth to block it with the Force, you could have had essentially the same sequence of events happen, just without the stupidity of trying to like destroy an explosive rocket right in your face.
Why not just have all of them work together and do it?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I guess Jedi aren't about teamwork.
Okay. I didn't realize.
Probably not. Although they will change that in the later parts of this book, as we're gonna find out. Yeah, there is no reason really. Like, I would assume there's like a game plan. Like, hey, if something happens, what are we gonna do? Like, we probably shouldn't try to make explosives explode in our faces. And only Sabayoth gets that, which unfortunately is quite central to the story, because that makes him to be like revered as a hero, more or less. With his new prestige, like the disputing parties can't refuse him anymore. I guess I don't even think that that's a reasonable thing. Like, okay, you saved us, that's cool, but maybe this deal is still shit, and we don't want to take it. But yeah, so basically we speedrun everything. The Outbound Flight gets approved with basically everything that Sabayoth wanted. There's going to be even more Jedi coming along than he initially wanted. Yeah, because apparently nobody can argue with him anymore. I feel like Jedi do enough heroic things that this shouldn't be that easy, because how could you ever refuse the order of any Jedi then? Because they're all bound to have done something heroic in their Jedi life. I only understand Vagari and Cannibal. You have to speak English to me, Fabe. I'm sorry. As you might have noticed from my German accent and my lack of Swedish skills, I do not actually speak Swedish. That's that. Chapter 10. Let's just go on. Oh, yeah, okay. This was my first. I mean, this other thing was like really dumb. I'm like, oh no, they are not actually doing this. So Cardas notices something. He's a perceptive boy sometimes. I mean, not really, but the book tells us he is. So Quento and Maurice, the book, I guess, tried to tell us that they are boyfriend and girlfriend. That's kind of what I've gotten. I don't know if you've gotten the same, but
I don't think they are.
You don't
but,
think that?
But I'm not entirely sure either.
I know that. I think I remember that they share a room, which like implies something, I guess. Wait, I mean, Wikipedia is not a. That's not a valid source, but I'm just gonna look it up. If it says anything there, it doesn't say anything. about, like, with Quento? Does it say anything about Maurice? Oh, so on Wikipedia it says that Quento is Maurice's boyfriend. That
okay.
doesn't have to mean anything, but
Sure.
I understand Swedish and Serbian. Blatte, I know that it's stop speaking Swedish. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, Team Fortress profile build. I understand that. They clearly are. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's I guess like the most basic definition of couple you could find.
Yeah. See, that's what I got from them, but I don't know if that's the actual intention.
Yeah, I don't know either, because this is the vibe kind of that they give off.
It's funnier if they're a couple, honestly.
It's more blackpilling about Star Wars, clearly, if they are a couple. So okay,
I'm gonna put it as a couple because it's funny.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So they are something, but apparently he notices something with Maurice, which is that she's developing a crush on Thrawn. I'm just like, you, like, until you've read this book, would you have said that you liked Thrawn as a character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now when you're reading this, like, what's your thoughts? Do you think this is an interesting new choice to make?
I think this is a different character. I don't consider this and the Thrawn we see in Thrawn trilogy the same character.
Yep.
It's
bullshit.
It's very clear Zahn had a completely different idea by now of who the character of Thrawn is.
Yeah, but for which reason, I wonder? Because
the fans liked him, so I guess he was like, oh, but the fans can't like, a villain, so he's got.
Oh yeah. Famously, Star Wars fans hate Darth Vader, obviously, because he's a villain. Palpatine, nobody likes Palpatine. He's a villain. Speak English. What? Fuck off.
Yeah, I got that too. It was.
I mean, she's nothing like her, though. I feel like he would have made her into if this was supposed to be the thing, he would have made her into an opinionated redhead as well. But that doesn't happen. She's like walking BS. So 9-5. Yeah. Yeah. So it was really uncomfortable to read that. Like, the hell am I supposed to do with this? Because, it's this funny thing. When there's characters who are like pretty clearly a villain, and I feel like attacking you without warning is a villainous act. And then there's hero would really stretch the definition, but I guess not a villain like this trio is.
And one of them is what he's trying to do.
Yeah, I guess heroes probably, yeah. Whatever, this thing they have going on. And one of them just like falls in love with the villain. It's really hard to justify why I need to like this character, because it's clear that I'm supposed to like Maurice. I don't get the feeling that I'm supposed to hate her. But I do, so I don't know. Like, at this point, I was like, okay, my interest in, like, I didn't have any particular interest in this subplot. Whatever I had died in that moment. It's like, okay, I get what you're doing now. And it's really like, them worshipping Thrawn low-key, that was like kind of the first indicator. And when that happened, I'm like, okay, I get it now. Fuck off, that's bullshit. Yeah, Cardus gets uncomfortable when Thrawn tells him that other Chiss are also like everyone is constantly supervising them because they want to learn more about them. Like, I mean, yeah, that's what he told you he was gonna do. Now they tell, yeah, well, everyone does it, and that makes him uncomfortable, but it also doesn't make him leave. Like he never just asks, hey, can we go now? Like, you don't know whether he's able to go because nobody bothers to ask the question. So my theory is that if he just asked, hey, we need to go now, Thrawn would let them leave. Like, even villain Thrawn, I feel like would let them leave because
At this point, he has no use for them. He's already learned enough basic to get around.
Can't they?
Why are they here?
Yeah, what are they exactly even doing here? You don't get any reason. So, like, okay,
Hello,
sure.
Jason. What's up?
Oh, Jason's here. Hey, Jason. How are you doing? We really don't like this, so welcome to more negative Star Wars. That's something everyone wants in their life. Yeah, 2 new characters get introduced. One of them is called Thress. Thress is Thrawn's brother. An information that I was like I was surprised at how little I cared about that information. I'm like, oh cool, it's Thrawn's brother. Yay.
He's his brother.
Finally was able to catch an ongoing stream. Hey, it's cool that you're here. Doing fine. That's good to hear. Yeah, we are getting closer to NGO, which is probably also what you are more interested in. So you have stuff to look forward to in the future.
What does Thras even accomplish here?
Thras, I remember Thras is there in the end, but I don't know why. I just know that he is there with Lorana.
Because it almost seems like
Yeah,
Thras should be the anti-hero type character, and Thrawn should just be straight up villain, and then gets kicked out, like we know he does.
that's a good idea. I mean,
if they're brothers, that would make it even more sad. It would hit harder because
I think you could make like some conflict into that. Like Thras also having to be the one that exiles his own brother. That could like really make for something interesting. Have him be the one who is like kind of the nicer character. I mean, take that whole weird crush thing out of it. That's really bizarre. But otherwise, yeah, you could just swap them and make Thrawn into what he very clearly is, which is villain. Like, no buts and ifs. He is a villain. He's not what he is in this
pure
book.
ends justify the means. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Thras is literally a nothing guy, presented and killed in the same novel. Yep. You can, like, there are like characters that get killed in the same book they're introduced in, like really excellent. And you can do a lot in one novel. But this wasn't the one.
Yeah, but that's not what happens.
It clearly is not. Like, does he even learn that he loses his brother? I don't know. Like, he might, and I just skipped it. Ich liebe dich. I feel like you said ich liebe dich, which is I love you. I love you, and justify the means Lelouch of the. Oh wait, Lelouch the name. Wait, I know that. Oh no, is it the character I think it is?
Probably.
Lelouch. Where was that? Oh, it was Code Geass, yeah.
Yeah, Code Geass.
Code Geass. I think I have never watched that. I think I have at some point learned about what the meme with him is, and I've forgotten it, and I don't feel like relearning it. So screw off, Fabe. You're.
He's very ends justify the means.
Oh, okay, makes sense. I mean, yeah, sure. I agree. Thrawn should be that, and he is that. Like, he shouldn't be that. He actually is. Yeah, Thras is in here, and also another character, like an admiral called Aralani. Orlani is a character, yeah. And yeah, so they learn that she stole this treasure, and Thrawn talks them into looking through the entire treasure. Yeah, because he says like, "Oh yeah, I allowed Quento to take some with him," and they're like really pissed off, and so they feel the need to keep inventory to make sure he doesn't like steal everything or something. They do that, and meanwhile, there's an attack that Thrawn wants to be unbothered at, so he goes there instead. But I'm like, I mean, if this guy's an admiral or this woman, I don't even know, I don't care. Wouldn't he or she just leave like guards with Thrawn, like, hey, you won't leave. We'll do this, and you won't just go away. But that doesn't happen, so Thrawn goes away. Maurice volunteers to come along, even if she might die. Like, that's very explicit. Like, she doesn't care about the possibility that she could die during that attack. She wants to be there. And Cardiff comes along as well.
You wrote down when you said women. It's so sad.
I feel like every chapter is saying women, so I'm not sure if I know which specific scene you mean. So many. Yeah, I was like, okay, this kind of creeps me out, and these characters are disgusting or weird. I don't want to read about them anymore. Oh, you love ends justify the means as like a character thing. It makes for a pretty interesting villain. It works if you do it fine. I've just read X-Men 150. Magneto's a pretty cool character. Kind of follows that concept. For female cis fetishists. I mean, fair enough, but you can do it better. There is a way to satisfy fetishes and also like write good characters. Oh, fuck. Yeah, Fabe, are you happy now? There you go. Anime. Hey, that's cool. Wait, I also need to find. Oh no, I don't think I'm going to find one that quickly. Orlani exists for Thrawn to be shipped with someone. I disagree, because people seem like I was searching like through through places just to get to see like what do other people say about Outbound Flight, and it led me to a place which I should have vowed to never go to again, which is Reddit. And people like there are people who apparently ship Thrawn with Maurice. Like, it's a thing that some people do that. I'm like, wait, really? But why? So if Orlani was a character who Thrawn was shipped with, it would still be annoying. But if, like, I guess it's a chiss, and Thrawn knows that character, so it would be more believable. It would still be bad, probably. But Maurice, it's like, this character, I think this character is supposed to be, like, in a relationship, and she falls in love with Thrawn for literally no reason. So I don't know. It worked with Jason. You mean, and yeah, no. Outbound Flight established Thrawn has a case of the not gays, as he appreciates Mara's simping.
Confirmed, not gay.
I mean, you couldn't do that in a very different way. You could establish that in like a line. He's built like Jack Skellington, has a weird incest adopted little brother. Okay. Is that true, Pico?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Probably because it sounds like something people would do. But I actually saw people like write.
Pellion's base.
Yeah, Pellion is cool. Yeah, but Pellion doesn't deserve this. I actually saw people like ship him with Maurice, and they even write like fan fiction and all this stuff. It's really weird. So I guess whatever Thrawn was doing, if this was his goal, I guess mission accomplished. I don't know.
I tagged you in something on Discord.
Oh, okay.
It's the
no.
It's the start of chapter 11.
Standing behind the corner. Okay, being probably looking for. Oh, it literally says. Yeah. So Maurice, she's like very excited to see Thrawn being all noble and honorable. Thanks, son. He thought sourly. Why does Cardass think that sourly? He loves Thrawn. Waiting for him to bolster her already stratospheric opinion of him. Women. I mean, yes, kind of. But also no, because you're the same. It's like you don't deserve to say women if you're literally the same. Yeah. Do you think the general positive feelings this book got overall, besides being by Zahn, is the comparison with what was...
No.
What possible reason could there be for people thinking this is good? I'm trying to think.
I think a lot of people just like anti-hero Thrawn for some reason.
I guess so.
2006 was a time when anti-heroes, quote unquote, were just like the cool thing.
Perhaps. Maybe it's also just the cheap callbacks to other things, like, oh, here's Thrawn again, here's Sabayoth again, Obi-Wan and Anakin, you know them from other places. Yeah, I guess it could be that people didn't want to believe that Zahn could write a bad book. It probably is part of like that anti-hero thing. I guess people dug that for whatever reason. But I mean, if you see, like, I fully believe that most, or like basically every EU book got a positive reception mostly when it came out, just because.
Yeah, Fabian actually makes a very good point.
Oh. Hey, yeah, I do like Shadow, I have to say, but I don't like this. Maybe.
Yeah, but people liked it back then.
Oh yeah, true, right? I mean, Legacy of the Force has gotten its mostly negative, or like it's more negative connotations now as time went on. Yeah, I feel like when they came out, people probably liked basically every EU book that came out, like at least more than 50%.
Yeah, this was like right after episode 3. Just everything is hyped and
yeah. Okay, oh, he was. There you go.
It's true. He did.
Yeah,
literally no one said anything bad about it before.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. Yeah, I mean, he definitely made it into a viable thing. Like, I'm sure there was somebody, but yeah, not.
No, there were actually a few forum posts that did not like it, but
I'm sure there were.
I think the edgy boys won out.
I mean, if there's people who like 90s cape shit, I feel like there needs to be people who like still like this and think it's good.
Yep,
probably high correlation there. Yeah. It is interesting, right? And with, I mean, the beatdown streams, they are the magnum opus that sent us.
They're gonna look like 10-minute videos when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, the beatdown streams, like, they were a surprising format for Noah already that he never quite did again. But yeah, Jesus, I made it mainstream. Yeah, basically. Of course, I mean, we know from history, we've always said the truth. People just didn't like it, and that's where we left off. Thank God. Yeah. So that's just kind of what happened. I guess let's just go on chapter 11. Yeah. Apparently, like, interdictorships and like artificial gravity fields for like space battles, they weren't a thing yet, I think, because like the 3 from our galaxy, like they basically don't know that, like they're like this doesn't exist yet, or we thought this isn't possible yet. That's kind of what I got. So that's just what we know. The Vagari have such a generator, which I guess is the backstory to how he had one, and I don't know. Well, I don't care. But yeah, so Cardas, who is like kind of mentally challenged, that was my conclusion at this point. He wonders why the hell they should risk so much for just this generator, like this gravity generator.
Excellent question, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, wait, why should we? This could have been at least a turning point for Cardas. It isn't. Maurice being fully mentally challenged because woman, she's like, it's a chance that, quote, we should take now. And I think even Cardas wondered about that, but definitely I did. It's like, what do you mean we? You're not a part, like, you're not a part of this. Like, actually you're not. So what's, I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of what happens. Like, yeah, we can get it. It's like, no, he can. You can't. But there you go. I was like, sure, the fight is like, it's a fight. I really didn't care about I had no patience for reading this space fights. It's like around this time, I'm like, okay, I want to get this done now, kind of. So I didn't care enough about reading the actual space fights. They're usually competent enough. I have no reason to believe it's like otherwise here.
They're pretty well done.
Yep.
I must say.
It's he can do that. Fair enough. Sure. Oh yeah, Thrawn. Okay, so the Vagari, they have this thing. They have like bubbles outside their ships, which is full of innocent people. And I was thinking about this. So it's obviously supposed to portray the Vagari as being ruthlessly evil because they use like living shields. But then I started wondering. So you have these things. I don't like they are glass. It's glass bubbles just full with people. Like, what protection does that even give you? Like, does that, because that's their strategy. It's like they use humans as living shields, I guess, to protect their vital ship parts. But then again, like they're not. What are they gonna do? They're just gonna. I don't even think they would eat a turret shot from another ship. I think it would go straight through them and to their initial target. So I don't know what purpose this serves other than just saying, hey, the Vagari are really evil, so technically Thrawn isn't, I guess. That's probably it. Yeah, that's just kind of what happens. So yeah, Thrawn sees that there are innocent people there. He kills them. Maurice is sad, kind of, but kind of not really because she doesn't do anything about it. Yeah, I was like, insert surprised Pikachu face here. It's like, oh my god, Thrawn kills civilians, innocent people. I never guessed that he wasn't nice. It was like, yeah, the guy who attacked you and holds you hostage is not quite nice. But yeah, then she's like, oh, he had no choice or something, and then she's fine with it. Yeah, Quento starts getting really mad because he literally had only one reason to want to stay there, and that was the treasure that he was promised, or that they were promised. And that was locked away now. So he gets really angry, understandably so. Like that was the whole purpose. Maurice and Cardas agree that he needs to be locked up so he doesn't do anything dangerous. And he needs to develop patience. I was laughing. I couldn't believe that I was reading this. It's like, wait, he deserves to be locked. Well, sure, I guess so. Yeah.
Lock him up if we're being reasonable, honestly.
Yep. What a nice bunch of friends you have there, Quinto. Yeah, so Thrawn, yeah, he wants to keep them to learn more about them. It's like, yeah, obviously, that's what he kept saying to you. He never made it a secret that he uses you. He has a purpose, however flimsy that purpose may be, and he doesn't he doesn't care about you, or he shouldn't at least. But this is gonna turn out into a running joke, at least one that I noticed. It's that every other chapter they are like, okay, we should really, really leave now, but then they just don't. Like, if you want to make it in a way that they can't leave and they are actually locked up, then that's, I mean, sure, that it would be stupid because they agreed to be so long here in the first place. But initially they got here involuntarily, so you could make it work. But the thing is, they don't seem in any hurry to actually leave. And they never ask, hey, can we just leave now? They just don't do that. They always say, we really got to go now. But they also don't do it, and they never attempt to do it. So, like, I don't know what stakes are here. Like, are they prisoners? Are they not? Can they leave? Can they not? It's really frustrating because you're like in this eternal limbo, and it doesn't really get resolved in any way because you never learn whether they actually could have just left. So that whole part is kind of, I mean, useless is still putting it nicely. Dude was the only one not suffering. Yeah,
it's like the core and horn of this book.
Yeah, it's like, hey, can we just go? And his other two friends just fucking betray him. Like, yeah, you need to be locked up, you fucking asshole. We've only been here for like, what, weeks, months at this point? Have some patience. Like, dude, we're gonna get fucking killed by our clients. Quarsh, like...
Quarsh is Irish, so you got to take his likes with a grain of salt there.
Exactly. Like, imagine liking this book. I don't see it doesn't even have like a waifu or anything that I could like distract myself with. It's just shit. Yeah, that was a deliberate name choice, by the way, Fabi. Thrawn is now trying to like bend the Chiss rules, like with how he's gonna justify his attacks to the Vagari. A bending is incorrect. He has broken them. Like, it's okay. Just say
it. They're very specific rule, strict rule. Yeah, I don't understand.
I mean, the rules are not set up in here, so this is not like it's not an accomplishment by this book. But the Chiss rules actually are pretty reasonable and make quite a lot of sense, and they're pretty simple. It's we never attack first.
The end.
Pretty easy.
That's it.
Like, if we get attacked, we attack them back. If they attack someone else, we don't care. If they look mean, we don't give a fuck. So no, you're not bending the rules. You have broken them. Just lean into this. I don't know why you're wasting time. Because it's just wasting time. There's no purpose of it being like that. But yeah. Oh yeah. And this was when I decided, like, I don't really care. I'm gonna more or less skim over the rest of this book. I didn't see any worth in here anymore, and I never got out of that belief. So yeah, that's just kind of still what applies here. I don't like this. I mean, that at least, like, making them attack first if you really want to attack them, but you can't do it because of your rules. That at least is an interesting concept. Like, we've had that in Survivor's Quest, where it's like, okay, we're gonna bring them into a position where they want to be to attack us, so now we can retaliate. It's kind of scummy. This is what I would call bending the rules, because you technically never broke them. Like, the Chiss in Survivor's Quest never attacked first, actually. They waited and waited and waited and waited, and at some point they got attacked, when the Chiss moved them into the position they wanted them to be in. Like they knew that they were going to attack, and now they have the justification to go to war. That is bending the rules, because you clearly want war. You're just making them do it instead of like just being the first one to shoot. That's fine. That's bending it. What Thrawn is doing is just clearly like he's attacking. I don't know what to say. He's breaking the rules. Finito. That's it. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if it were to be determined here that he already broke them, he would probably be arrested, and the book would be over. So we can't have that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so chapter 12. Sabayoth. So Sabayoth, he does believe that Lorana was, ready to become a knight. Like he actually does, but she gets recommended for knighthood, so she can come along with him on the Outbound flight. And now, like, as she got knighted, he's much more insistent about getting her opinion on all sorts of different things, which I guess is kind of nice. I don't know. She doesn't want to go on to the Outbound flight, but she, quote, finds no reason like to refuse, basically. I was like, if she has this little confidence in herself that she can't even clearly say why she doesn't want to go, why exactly was she knighted in the first place? I don't know. Oh yeah, we have another character we kind of know already. He's Ulya. So from Survivor's Quest, we know him. Ulya is basically an idiot. Like he's an asshole who already hates the Jedi, basically. So at some point there's like stuff there's stuff which is stored incorrectly, and it's not their fault. The Jedi don't know yet. They didn't find out even that stuff was stored incorrectly. That's why they need to restore everything, and it's going to take more time than they initially planned to. And somebody's like, hey, Sabayoth wouldn't be happy if he saw like the disarray that you're in. And he's like, what do I care what a Jedi would be happy about? Like, okay, they haven't even done anything yet, so I don't know why. Like, why this guy is going along on a voluntary colonization project with a bunch of Jedi, where the Jedi are kind of in control, when he really, really dislikes them. I have no clue why he's coming along. There's no reason. He hates them, but he goes along with them. I don't know. Yeah, you've enlisted there. And he could have. It's not like he enlisted years ago and that was set in stone. Like, no, when right as it happened, they kind of still seem to have a choice about whether they want to come along or not. And he chose to come along. So I don't know what his problem is.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. As I said, like right in the beginning of this book, I was more hopeful about this. I'm like, okay, the prequel era populations of the galaxy, they pretty quickly seem to turn on the Jedi as well. Like public opinion shifted very quickly. At least it seems like it. So I'm like, you need a few more Jedi who are kind of assholes. The thing is, at some point he stops being an asshole and is just a clear villain, and everybody notices it, but nobody does anything.
And they fed him 4 Padawans.
Yep, and they know they clearly know what he's about, and they keep giving him Padawans, which I don't know. Like, are they afraid of him? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get introduced to another character I've always wanted to learn more about, which is first quote Dean so and so, who repaired something from them. So okay, from Survivor's Quest. Yeah, sure. And they were like, we'll probably never see him again. Like, that's funny. And I'm like, wait, why didn't because he never got recognized in Survivor's Quest, and he also never recognized them. I was like, that's kind of weird. I mean, I guess maybe they just don't remember. It's been a while, but I feel like Dean would remember that he has worked on this very, very specific, very famous thing. So I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of it. Oh yeah. Obi-Wan and Anakin now want to come along, at least until the end of their known galaxy. It's, something about, the council could possibly believe that Vergia is alive now as well. And I guess they want to send back up or something. I don't know. They come along for now. And yeah, Lorana meets Dean, so her brother. He basically, he verbally, I wrote down that he verbally cuts his own arteries. Basically, he's just crying about his life because he's not a Jedi. And it's like, okay, sure. Apparently his parents had to find new work again, and they weren't even told that they can't work in the temple anymore, until it happened, until they were fired, because their daughter went to become a Jedi in the temple. Oh, that sounds unnecessarily cruel. I feel like a Jedi could very simply broker a new job contract for them somewhere, but I guess they didn't, because prequel Jedi. I was like, yeah, this is really bad. I'm like, this could have been a chance, to develop a relationship that made her, because Lorena does, of course, she believes the Jedi are a force of good, and this could have been a good opportunity to make her question, the cruelty of the Jedi, because they've just ripped a family apart. They've kind of scarred people for life, and nobody says anything about it. He complains, and I mean Dean just cries about it. So, but still, there's something to be told here. It's like, hey, maybe this should get criticized because it's kind of an insane rule, but it doesn't happen, and it's kind of a waste. So, oh well. The Jedi are cruel bastards. They did something similar with Lon Paven's son. Oh yeah, Graham told me that something happened in Maul Shadowhunter similarly to that. I mean, this is a problem I feel like Star Wars regularly runs into, and I mean probably a lot of other entertainment products, but Star Wars is now the one I'm most familiar with, which is you have this choice sometimes between respecting what has come before and continuing your other stories and characterizations in spirit of that, even though it's really, really stupid, or essentially retconning work that has come before, but making it better. And this seems like something, sure, I get it. Jedi in the prequel era, they need to be different in a way, but it's applied so stupidly so many times, and I really dislike it. Yeah, I've heard that, yeah. Oh man, who knows? Chapter 13. So, there's a character called Pakmilu. He's I think he's a Mon Calamari. He also goes along with the Outbound Flight. He refers to Anakin as quote half a Jedi in a conversation with Kinman Doriana, and as he calls him half a Jedi, Doriana thinks about the rumors of Maul's of Darth Maul's death. I'm like, no. First of all, how anybody but Sidious would even find out that Maul is dead is beyond me. I feel like Palpatine would feel it in the Force, and that's it. When I look down this long, whatever it even was in Naboo, I feel like wherever he's flying down there, there's no people left who can find him. And even if they did, why the fuck would Kinman Doriana be the one who knows anything about it? And specifically that Maul was cut in half? I don't get where he gets that from.
Maybe the Jedi just announced it to the public for some reason.
Hey, we fucking sliced them in half. But then again, it wouldn't be rumors. Then it just would be the truth.
Yeah.
What you would have to believe is so. Yeah, I mean, or Pakmilu, I don't know. When I see two L's, I don't know. I just kind of pronounce it that way. Pakmilu, Pakmiu, whatever. Oh yeah, the third side of a two-side conflict. Yeah, but then if a Jedi you would reasonably assume if a Jedi says it, it isn't a rumor anymore. It's what happened. It sounds like, oh, people are whispering in the streets about how Maul got killed. It's like, why the hell do people even know who Maul is? How would they know that he is dead? And how would they know how specifically he was killed? That's just... Why would Palpatine tell Doriana? Like, I don't feel there's a reason. Maybe I'm underestimating the importance of Kinman Doriana to the prequel era. I feel like he's a nameless, faceless goon who Palpatine doesn't give two shits about and wouldn't talk to him about Darth Maul, but oh well, whatever. Yeah, Kinman, he has a Namodian with him, Vice Lord Cav. And oh yeah, apparently the Trade Federation were never punished for anything regarding Naboo. Because Palpatine, I don't know, bribed the courts or some shit. Somebody did something. And it's like, I feel like there should, sure, the Senate were pressured or convinced into moving on, but I feel like the public would know this because it didn't seem like a private matter that nobody knew about. So nothing happening to them, I feel like this
Noah is correct here. That I mean, no, there weren't. There are no security cameras in Star Wars. We know that.
Oh yeah, obviously.
A lot of things would be very different if there were.
Fabe, you have to remember that Kevin, in his infinite wisdom, set up that security cameras aren't a thing most of the time. I mean, communication isn't either. So why would you believe the palace of your queen of your planet would be secured? There's no reason to believe that. That's dumb. I mean, who would be so stupid to attack Queen Amidala anyway? Nobody would try that, so why protect her?
Yes,
according to Zon,
that is correct.
Doriana was okay. Sure. Press X there. Yep. I get that authors want their own spin on a story, but I don't get why they insert... I guess I get it, but it's dumb that they insert characters or species or factions who are really, really fucking important, even though they have never been and will never be again.
He's just saying that it was there in Hand of Thrones, so he's just referencing himself in a way.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
It's just he just sucks in this book.
Yup. They use them in TSW and Darkness. Security cameras, well then that's clearly a retcon of Kevin's vision. I don't know how Matt can like this if he if Darkness specifically ruins what Kevin has created. In this case, yeah. To digitally insert Doriana and back. He probably is somewhere there already. I would be surprised if he is. Obviously, it's not our book, so if he wants to do that, that's fine. It's not my book. Yeah, and especially considering that Palpatine, everyone knows that Palpatine is from Naboo, so I feel like people would be confused as to why the Chancellor, who is from Naboo and was the senator of Naboo during the blockade, just lets this happen. I feel some civilians would be questioning this, but they don't. Chapter 14. Oh yeah, so the Outbound Flight. So the Outbound Flight is full with Jedi, obviously. It's also full with normal families. But what Sabayoth did, apparently, is that he specifically sought out families with Force-sensitive children beyond the usual age of recruitment for the Jedi Order. Since he believes, the age restrictions of the Jedi are dumb, which, fair enough, they are. But still, with the Force-sensitive children, this is kind of where Sabayoth just goes full insane, and we'll get to why. But yeah, he wants to take them away from the families, even by force if they don't let them be trained. And Obi-Wan and Ma Ning, so Ma Ning is like another Jedi who's present there. They don't like tell this anybody. Like they could just call back to the council and be like, "Hey, doesn't this sound kind of fucked up to you?" But they don't. And I think he even points like all kinds of stupid routes or anything where it's like, "Oh yeah, I can actually do all of this and this is completely fine." Which, first of all, who would make such stupid rules? Second of all, those who come along, why wouldn't they read those rules if that is something he can do? But yeah, I guess that's just what happens.
Well, no, it's different. See, that was newborns, but this is above the age of recruitment.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically like recruiting adults. Yeah, I don't know why. There's no reason to do this, but he does. So, oh well. Yeah, Ulya, he has another crying fit about Jedi. I don't know why he goes to a Jedi-led project if he hates Jedi so much. Like, he's gonna get reasons later, I guess, but he already did this from the get-go, so I don't see the point. Oh yeah, Sabayoth, he also tries to take the children away while everyone's sleeping, because that's normal and not villainous to do. Obi-Wan at least gets him to postpone that decision until like there's gonna be a discussion in the morning, because yeah, he does kind of recognize that this is a bit ridiculous. Then again, he also doesn't do anything. This entire discussion leads to the captain, so Pakmilo, to agree with him, so with Sabayoth. So he does just take the children away and he trains them in the Force and other stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, we do get the fact that they specifically sent troublemaker Jedi onto the outbound flight. So I don't know if maybe the Jedi don't want them back, but that's like really, really horrible, actually. I mean, kind of, yeah. Like the other ones are there. They are clearly not okay with it, but they also don't do anything. So, oh well. Yeah, and yeah, basically all the thing is all those families, they specifically wanted to leave the Republic and the Jedi behind, and it's the same thing with Ulya. You're going to a Republic and Jedi funded and controlled colonization project with the intent of leaving those two factions behind. But you're going along with them. Why don't you go to a neutral planet in your own galaxy instead? Why do you follow the factions that you don't like into the unknown regions? I don't understand. Oh well. Oh yeah, Lorena seems kind of okay with this happening because it's the children's birthright to become Jedi, and it requires sacrifices from children and parents. Sure, there you go, I guess. And yeah, why should someone be denied that? There you go.
It's okay.
Yeah, why should they? Tell me a good reason why your children shouldn't be kidnapped. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I know one or two, but maybe I don't. I mean, this is pretty sound logic to me, so I guess maybe I'm just wrong here. So yeah, she's kind of a lunatic too. Yeah, the only guy who's like mildly concerned with this is Obi-Wan. But Obi-Wan also still, I mean, I'm not sure if I can forgive it by Obi-Wan being younger. Like maybe he's also less, but I feel like Obi-Wan was always a pretty self-confident guy. like in the Phantom Menace, he seemed like pretty secure with himself. So I don't know what this is, but he doesn't do anything. Yeah, I'm like, okay, so the Jedi part also has kind of lost its entertainment factor, which leaves me with nothing because I hated the Chiss from basically the get-go, and the Jedi were like somewhat okay at times, but now it just there's nothing left. Chapter 15. Yeah, chapter 15 was when I had my mental breakdown, and I gave up on even summarizing the chapters with the appropriate names, so I renamed everybody. The Chiss were the Blue Man group. Dumb were both Quento and Cardass. Dama was Maurice. I had a bunch of stupid fucking names. I had Space French. Those were the Namodians because fun fact, in the prequel German voice acting, the Namodians have French accents, so that was the first I kind of thought about. And a bunch of other stuff, but I'm gonna translate it because obviously that's insane to listen to. So the Chiss, they kind of go onto the ship of the three team there, and they tell it's this fast and it's armed with all those weapons, and I'm like, okay, there you go. Now they know what the ship's all about. Apparently Maurice has private conversations with Thrawn specifically about Jedi, and she even says Quento's like, hey, why didn't you ever tell me this? If this is normal to you, and you think I'm, and you think this is fine, this wasn't my idea. It was Thrawn's. Yes, that sounds less insane. Thanks. She has a surprised Pikachu face because Quento doesn't like that she's speaking alone to Thrawn, and he doesn't know where she is or why she's there, and it's his suggestion to keep it secret. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this book does want to portray Quento as being insane, right?
I think so.
I think it tries to make him out to be the impatient, brash knucklehead. He has no sense of anything when he's kind of normal. More like shiz. Yep, definitely. Also because I mean, they blocked Naboo from all outside interference and they didn't get punished. I think they won pretty clearly. Yes, I don't even want to think about the implications of that phrase. So fuck that. Because she keeps telling us how cultured, and how nice Thrawn is. I just at some point I compared it to those stereotypical teenage art school students. That's if you've played Life is Strange, I have. If you've played them, you basically encountered dozens of them, very, very full of themselves. They believe they know shit, but they're the biggest horse in the fucking world. That's kind of what Maurice is. She thinks she's really, really important, and she knows she has it figured out, but she's actually kind of stupid. The book wants to gaslight you still that she's an idealist, even though she clearly is not. So I don't get what the point of that is. I guess to like her. Yeah, whatever. Exactly. So that was just it. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I still hate those characters, so you don't need to convince me. But oh well. Yeah, the Namodians want to attack the Outbound Flight with Doriana now because that's their goal from Sidious or whatever. Oh yeah,
Why?
Sabaoth is Santa Claus and Anakin is Sand. So Sabaoth teaches Anakin how to use the turret batteries on the dreadnoughts because that is a normal part of Jedi training, I guess. Obi-Wan, he's Space Jesus, obviously. He points out that this is weird, but once again, he doesn't do anything about it. Okay. Sabayoth, surprise, surprise, acts as judge, jury, and executioner. Like, there's some fight going on. He doesn't even know what's happening. He's just walking, like he's passing by. He immediately determines who's at fault, and it's like, okay, we're gonna cut like a day's like a day worth of pay from you. Like, okay, that's just what he does. Once again, Obi-Wan doesn't like it, but he doesn't do anything. Yeah. Chapter 16. Yeah, so Cardas, he will have like he will help the Chiss because, like, they have
because
they have this stupid thing where, like, they have their borders, but they also have a fleet that acts beyond those borders, and even they are like, normal, valid, like, areas that they can control, which makes the concept of borders kind of superfluous in the first place. Like, why not just declare these
maybe they're like client states or something.
Sure, why not?
It's like the Iron Curtain or something.
Yeah, why not? Fine enough, fair enough. And
they're their own mini Polands. They got they're patrolling. And...
yeah, fair enough. I'm like, okay, I guess this is a normal thing that they do. So he goes along and he doesn't complain. Yeah, Chiss, the Chiss are there. Cardas is with them. They attack the Neimoidians and they beat them immediately.
Because the Chiss are just so much better than everyone. So
yeah, obviously. I mean, they have never heard of the concept of droids before, but clearly they're superior. Chapter 17. Oh yeah, the Chiss, they want to keep the 3 humans as prisoners. What a surprise. Because the reasoning is, the Neimoidians, they attacked, or like they arrived here very shortly after you did, even though they're not supposed to be here, and you're not supposed to be here either. Cardas seems surprised about that. There you go. The Neimoidians are defeated, of course, but what they want to do is basically like gaslight or BS the Chiss into attacking the outbound flight for them, because that's like their only way to act now, as all other ships of them are destroyed. Oh yeah, space Buddhists, they are the Jedi, obviously, so there you go. Oh yeah, Thrawn attempts to have a Thrawn moment, but it doesn't work because it's dumb. So the Neimoidians, right, they have ships, right? And if you have ships, especially those which are for military use, you don't want people to move through the ship at will if they're not supposed to. That means if you create doors, you'll probably create doors that are like really stable. Like, you can't just, blast them open with a normal, thermal detonator. No, like, it's plenty strong. And the Neimoidians have something like this. They have like really, really strong doors in their hallways. And from this info, Thrawn determines that they must be like a wimpy race that is not full of warriors, because they have like thick doors in their ships.
Okay.
No. I think this is the first time I'm ever gonna mention this. Like, I've ever mentioned it, and I don't think I'm ever gonna mention this again. But this doesn't fit, and I don't know if this makes a difference, but it doesn't fit the Revenge of the Sith video game, actually, because I don't know who has played those games, but there's this mission where you go to Mustafar as Anakin and like destroy the Separatists and also their armies, and there are like actual warrior Neimoidians who are like, I know they look like 2 meters, like 7 feet tall or something, and weigh like 200 kilograms. So that's not even true. But even if I think all fucking Neimoidians look like Newt Gunray, having secure blast doors on your ship, that's just being smart and normal. that doesn't actually mean that you're a cowardly race and that you don't have warriors. So I don't know what crack he was smoking, but
Blue crack.
blue crack. It sounds like a caricature of what Thrawn is, because sure, I mean, Thrawn's deductions, he is sometimes, he reaches quite a bit and they are a bit out there. But they are a bit more logical than this. I feel like this is just dumb. And it's such a small little scene. I'm sure it wasn't supposed to be analyzed like this, but I mean, that's what we do here. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, Cardas, even though Cardas is like, apparently like he's really, really suspicious of the Chiss now, and he like really, really wants to leave, definitely, for sure. He still talks to the guy and like has a heart-to-heart with him, and gives him information. So I don't know what, like, okay, what's the purpose of this then? Oh yeah, Sabayoth also apparently teaches children to work around the reactors of the ship. Ulia doesn't like that because it's like, wait, but we are the engineers here. Like, we are the personnel for that. But he gets told to like fuck off, and he even gets pushed away by the Force to fuck off. Okay, I just kind of thought this was humorous. I don't know. Chapter, what the fuck was the next one? Was it chapter 18? Oh yeah, chapter 18. Yeah, so Cardas and Maryse, they feel like they've been enough on the Chiss ship, like for real this time, like actually, definitely. So yeah, but still, still Maryse hopes that like Thrawn's career will not be destroyed by everything happening right now because of him like breaking the Chiss rules. Why the fuck do you care? Piss off. Oh yeah. Lorana Jinsla. I called her Laura Jizzler instead because I don't give a fuck. Yeah, she learns to shoot turrets as well. Cool. Obi-Wan. Oh yeah, Obi-Wan thinks, oh yeah, Sabayoth, he might actually be that strong as he pretends to be, because they have their, I don't know what the English name was, but they have like a mental link going on with like where they can connect, like where all Jedi can connect together and like act as one base. Kind of what Luke and Mara did in Survivor's Quest, where they're like, oh, we need to cut this cable at the same time from these two places. So, they link and they strike in one motion perfectly. That's kind of what he does, but with everyone. Okay. And he also thinks that, it's he also wrote, and he thinks that it's outrageous, it's unfair that Anakin and the other like children just watch them do this, but they don't like participate in it. Obi-Wan's like, hey, isn't this kind of dangerous? He's like, nah, trust me, bro.
Oh, okay, it's fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah. So remember how I'm not sure if it was Vision of the Future or if it was Survivor's Quest, where they kind of wanted to tell you that like Thrawn, I'm not sure whether, I think it was in Survivor's Quest, where supposedly Thrawn attacked the galaxy during the Thrawn trilogy, not to take over, but to like set them, like to give them such a fright because of their military inferiority that they get sent on a path where they like militarize themselves, they reorganize themselves, so that eventually, when the outside threat will attack their galaxy, they can defend themselves against them. This is bullshit already, but now we have the same thing implied, or like basically confirmed, for Palpatine. Apparently, Palpatine seized control of like the Galactic Republic and wants to transform it into the Empire because he knows the Yuuzhan Vong, or like the far outsiders. Is what they're called here at some point, but it's obviously the Yuuzhan Vong. And he wants to also bring the galaxy into a place where it can defend itself against them. And that's like, it's implied that it's like the big reason why he's doing all of this, when it's clear bullshit.
No, he's a Sith. That's it.
Yeah, he's just evil and he wants power. It's fine. That it's totally cool if that is his only goal ever. You know, if they turn, like, if they, you know, Luke's, like, let's say somebody like Luke who has experience with the Empire, or Leia, if they fight eventually the Yuuzhan Vong, and I assume they're gonna have a tough time, and then they're like, you know, I mean, even though they were obviously evil, it would have been easier if it was the Empire, because, you know, it's all unified, and there's this big evil being who's like really, really strong. They have like super weapons. If there's going to be this point, like, the Empire would have had an easier time, that's okay. I feel like that's an appropriate way of making this a thing. But trying to retcon Palpatine into creating the Empire in the first place specifically to deal with them, that's bullshit. It's fine if they would have had an easier time. I can totally believe that. Like, it's a dictatorship. It's easier to rule. I get it. But no, Palpatine's just evil. It's fine. It's okay. But yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, apparently Palpatine likes the Chiss already. Like, they communicate with each other over, you know, Kin Mandoriana, and he tells them, like, yeah, attack the Jedi, like, attack the Outbound Flight here and there, so that they don't accidentally move further outside and provoke the Yuuzhan Vong. Like, sure, okay. Chapter 19. Oh yeah, at this point, Cardass remembers that he is a cargo pilot, which means that he has cargo with him that needs to be sent to his clients. That's just kind of a thing that they forgot about, I guess. The others, like the other Chiss, they don't care that they promised those treasures to them. Duh. Who could have seen that coming? And if they, like, can pay their punishment fees that they're gonna get because they are, you know, shipping their cargo too late. I'm like, yeah, I like them. Like, fuck off. We don't care about you. What the fuck do you think this is? Like, I don't know what. It's just, they are dumb. Like, these are dumb characters, and just like, yep, what the fuck we don't care. Who are you? But yeah, there you go. Oh yes, Sabayoth, he started, like, implementing a lot of dumb rules in the Outbound Flight. One of those rules, like, there's an example. They have a bar, and they want to decorate their bar, because I suppose they're all Coruscanti. So they decorate a bar like an underground bar on Coruscant, and Sabayoth forbids them from doing that because he feels like making it into an underground bar will, like, incite rebellious tendencies in them, which is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This it makes no fucking sense. Yeah, it's to promote antisocial behavior. And I translated that into Santa Claus probably has been reading Harry Potter and his favorite character was Umbridge. I don't know, that's just what I felt like, because it felt like
bars promote antisocial behavior.
Bars
Isn't it
that
the reverse?
kind of. It's a place of socialization, so. But no, specifically that they decorated as an underground bar in Coruscant, you know, which sounds like they're gonna, I don't know,
like a
create a
speakeasy or
revolution.
something, or what?
Yeah, I guess it's like, because the underground bars in Coruscant, I guess they don't give a fuck about the government and the Jedi there. And if they decorate it that way, it is like a symbol of rebellion. I don't know. Something along those lines. Probably it's fucking stupid. Yeah. Oh yeah, Kinman Doriana. I called him Dorian the Übermensch. That's kind of difficult to explain why he is a. Yeah, it's stupid. It makes.
It's a layered meme.
It's a layered German meme. So forget about that. Yeah, unlike the Neimoidian, he kind of grows on me because he doesn't give Thrawn information. So it's like, yeah, why the fuck would I? He's such a genius. He doesn't need me, I guess. Why the fuck would I give him information? And Doriana is like really, he has fully bought into the Chiss and into Thrawn, and he thinks that he's childish. It's like, I mean, like, this guy lost everything, kind of, and he's a sitting duck, and he's kind of screwed. So, like, chill out, maybe. You don't even know if this guy's going to do anything that you're telling him to do, so I know why he believes that he will. Yep. Obi-Wan. Oh, yeah. Obi-Wan's going to leave because, Palpatine is like, oh, yeah, we can't have Obi-Wan and Anakin leave this galaxy. They were first going to stay on there. But then, like, oh, no, wait. If Anakin leaves, that's kind of screwing up my plans. And apparently he asked, oh, yeah, now I remember, I was wondering, who the fuck did I call Green Goblin? But it's Yoda. So apparently Palpatine asked Yoda, hey, is it fine if I call Obi-Wan and Anakin back to this other stupid mining dispute? And he was like, apparently he was like, yeah, sure, why not? So they leave. And that's the end of them in this story. Like, they just leave. Oh, okay, sure.
Maybe that ties into Jedi Quest. I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. I don't know. If so,
good
cool
on Son,
enough.
I guess.
I guess, sure, but
I doubt it. But
I doubt it as well. But oh well, who cares? Yeah, Cardus and Maurice, apparently they like really, really want to leave this time, like double. They double want it, definitely. And what Cardus does is he flies to the Vagari, or who I call the Viagras, and he offers them a bargain, which I was like, okay, I assume he wants to get them to attack the Chiss, so like they can leave. I mean, they still. I guess at this point they've said like, yeah, you're not leaving. So yeah, that's it's too late for that now. Chapter 20. Oh yeah, Cardus teaches the Vagari how to control droids. Like, okay, so that's how they know this in Survivor's Quest. I guess. Sure, why not? Thrawn like very precisely predicts where the Jedi will appear, like where they come out of hyperspace the first time, because I guess I'm not sure if there was a reason given. I guess because it's like, oh, they need to stop.
Because he knows everything. That's how.
Probably, and that was probably the reason. I mean, fair enough. Yeah, that's kind of the reason for everything. Yeah, the Chiss meet Sabayoth now because the Outbound Flight is here. Ulia like learns, oh, there's somebody here, so he wants to, like, he thinks that they are from the Galactic Republic, and he hopes to rat out Sabayoth and make them assume control again. That's just what he wanted to do. Oh yeah, Sabayoth. No, not Sabayoth. Cardus. He's in one of those outer like glass bubbles of the Vagari during the attack, so he could theoretically die in this. I mean, we know he does not, so that's just kind of sad because I hoped he would die. That doesn't happen. Chapter 21. Yeah, Sabayoth thinks. Oh yeah, Sabayoth is like full Hitler now. Sabayoth thinks that Jedi run the galaxy and destroy anyone who stands in their way. That's why he doesn't like. The Chiss are like, hey, don't fly directly through this. I guess because it's Yuuzhan Vong territory. Fly around this, like around the area, and like Lorena is like, hey, we can just fly around it, and he's like, no, we can't lose any time. I don't know why he can't lose any time. There's no reason. Like, it never seemed like there's anything specifically to hurry for. He's just in a hurry, I guess. Yeah, he doesn't want to do that. So that's just okay. Well, then the Chiss will probably destroy you now. Yeah, Ulya wanted to conspire against Sabaoth, like, I don't know, like Athena and Kratos, whatever. And he gets imprisoned, which, I mean, okay, sure. The Vagari, they attack. And of course, by chance, they land exactly where the Outbound Flight and Thrawn is as well. So now it's like a three-way fight. And oh yeah, they stop there, of course, because the Chiss now have like a gravity generator. That's how they pull them out of hyperspace. I was like, oh, so Carter's like actually doomed a bunch of people to death. Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty epic.
He never has to repent for that, or like sit in prison. He doesn't seem to feel particularly bad about it either. So cool. There you go. Chapter 22. Oh yeah, I was kind of breaking apart because of I'm warning you and be careful. So like every other sentence, people told other people to be careful, or like I'm warning you. Like if you're gonna do it, it's like fuck off. I don't know why. That's just a me thing, I guess. But like every other sentence was a warning, and then nothing ever really happened, or if something happened, it was insane. So it just got me annoyed, I guess. Oh yeah, so the Jedi, they have their link going on, and the Vagari attack them. So what they do is like they collectively use some form of force mind control onto the Vagari. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Do the same with the Chiss now, but they don't. And then they get
No, the Chiss
annihilated.
are too smart for that to work, obviously.
Exactly. Obviously. I mean, they have immediately sensed the Chiss in the Force. They're like, oh no, we're screwed. We can't defeat them. Yeah. So that's why they don't do that. And that's why they get like totally annihilated. I called it Santa Claus starts vadering all over Blue Men, which means that Sabaoth now falls to the dark side. And like he starts choking Thrawn, which seems to take like a minute, but he just doesn't die. And like you could probably just snap his neck. I guess you wanna, I don't know, torture him. He never dies, obviously, which is like kind of a bummer because that was a very easy way to get killed. Yeah, he is evil now. Then Sabaoth dies as well.
Damn, that's crazy.
Like, oh yeah, because like Doriana, he sees a red button, and he doesn't know what it means, but he's like some intuition of his, like just triggers at that moment, and he presses it, and so they have like a bunch of, I don't know if it's like vulture droids, like some droids of the Trade Federation, and they attacked the Vagari during that time, and by pressing that red button, they get redirected against the Outbound Flight instead, so they kill everyone. And that's
the worst decision in the book.
Worst decision
by Zahn.
You wanna? You mean you'd probably rather have Thrawn press it, right?
Yeah. Intentionally, I want Thrawn to destroy it because that's what it says in every other book he wrote.
Yep.
I don't understand this decision. Why would you?
I don't understand either. Like making a character, also even forgetting what was established in other books, making some character just press a random button, like a red, like I guess it was like a black button, but encircled in red. I feel like this could also just be the self-destruct button. Like, why would he believe that this is? But yeah, also it should have been Thrawn because why the hell is it Kinman Doriana? Yeah. Oh well, almost there. Yeah, I started this chapter, like chapter 23, with Blue Man, so Thrawn played 3D chess against himself, but it worked out. That's kind of Thrawn in this book. He just plays constantly 3D chess against himself, and he wins. Good job. Yeah, so yeah, apparently he had like a big grand plan, actually, because of course he did. Like he called Carda's a spy, and that's why all other Chiss were suspicious of him, in case just anything goes wrong, and he needs an out. Which does clearly indicate that he doesn't give a shit about this character, because why would he? But of course, everything, it just went the way he expected it to. So good on him. Yeah, everything was a game. Aralani apparently was on their side all along. Formby is mad now and he wants to imprison Thrawn, which, fair enough. Cardas finds out, and he also knows that, oh shit, Thrawn doesn't know, we need to inform him. It's like, why do you need to do that? Didn't you just call people to attack him? I didn't even realize when I was reading this. You called a bunch of slaveholders and warmongers to attack Thrawn. Now Thrawn needs to be imprisoned, so not even killed, but just imprisoned, and you're like, oh no, we need to save him. So, yeah. That's it. Oh yeah, apparently he really, really wants to leave now. He definitely wants to leave the Chiss ship. Formby wants to take the outbound flight. He's like, we have seized this property now. It's not yours anymore. So not Thrawn's. So Laura gets sent on her way, I guess, with Thras to fly the outbound flight to the planetoid where it's gonna be in Survivor's Quest. She tells, I think, Cardas to tell Dean that he shouldn't be angry anymore, because he's really angry and sad.
Oh, okay. I guess I just won't be angry then.
Yep. And he's not gonna follow this for 20 plus years, but who cares?
More, I think.
Even more, yeah. It's far more, I think. Chapter 24. Lorana, she's spinning the outbound flight because Ulia. It's Ulia was in a safe room, but then he was bored and he went out, and Lorana needs to turn the whole ship around for them not to die. Doriana, he has a chance to kill Thrawn, but he doesn't, because the justification was literally, why would he?
Because he's got to show up in a few books, right? So
sure, obviously, yeah. I've read what's happened afterwards. Not the rebellion era, but I've read the Thrawn trilogy, so of course he can't die. So that's just following canon, right? So it's okay. But the Neimoidian, he tries to kill him, but they were gifted droidicas, by the way, and they placed the droidica shield somewhere so it reflected back to him and killed him instead. Droidica shields are visible though, so I don't see how Cav didn't see this before he shot at Thrawn. I guess he didn't. Doriana says he respects Thrawn because he'll change the political landscape to defeat the wrong or something. He offers Cardas a job. Quento leaves with Maurice. I don't get why, because she clearly doesn't care about him, and I don't understand why he would about her. I would just leave her there, honestly. No, you like this, I'm gonna go here alone. Fuck off. But he doesn't. He takes her with him. Ulia and Presso, so the other, the father of the Presso, I think we find in Survivor's Quest. They are alive, obviously. And that's it. That's Outbound Flight. So now the dreaded question. What did you think about it? Towards the end, and out of 10?
This book is shit. I came out immediately after and put it a 6 or 5.5, and then we had that conversation with a few people, and it dropped it down to a 4. But I was like, is it really this bad? And now after this, yes.
Yeah.
I'm very much okay with 4, maybe even less.
I'm thinking about that. So if I think about it, 3 was Planet of Twilight.
Yes.
Um,
I think it is worse than Darksaber.
it's worse than Darksaber. Yeah. If I think about it, I think I'd rather reread. Like, what would you rather reread? Planet of Twilight or this?
Planet of Twilight, but that's just because it's a meme.
Yeah, kind of. It's funny. It's like it has aliens sucking each other.
I don't think it's the quality for that.
Nope.
It's a very different question.
Nope. Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, it's 3.5 to 4 out of 10. It's really, really shit. Like to an unprecedented extent. It's first of all, it's really long. It's far longer than it should have been. Because like you can basically delete out, like even forgetting the outbound flight parts themselves without improving them. You can just
There were outbound flight parts.
Oh, I guess so. That's at least the book cover wants to tell me this, so I don't know. But you can like very clearly just edit out the entire chess part. You don't need this. Like even if it were good, you don't need this. So like this book could be like 200 pages shorter. And like what's inside is also just not that good. It's really, really garbage actually. It almost kind of pains me to say this about a Zahn book because yeah, like unironically until now I really liked basically everything I've read, but, like from him. But it's just it sucks. Like it's really, really it's not only poor quality, but it's also just unenjoyable to read. Like something can be of poor quality,
Yeah,
but
it's unenjoyable to read. It's poor quality, and it character assassinates Thrawn, which is really stupid.
Basically, also kind of Palpatine in a way, saying like he created the Empire to specifically counter the Vong. That's bullshit. Sorry. And like character assassinating Thrawn. I mean, it's even more insane if you think about that. It's his own character. Like Palpatine isn't his, but Thrawn is. How the fuck?
How'd you fucking know?
How the fuck can you mischaracterize something you have created yourself? It's so baffling. But he did it somehow, and there was no reason to do so. Like because I don't know what the thought process was. Oh, people like Thrawn, so I should write more Thrawn. Oh, but I should probably write him an anti-hero because people want to like him. Well, there is a reason why people initially liked him, right? It's because the way he was fine. And he was a villain, period. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah. Character assassination. It has those 3 stupid fucking retards. These human... I don't give a shit about them, and they're also just horribly written. They add nothing. They don't even add like any interesting context here. They are just... I don't know. Like representations. Maybe they are representations of the fan base. Like they will just gobble up any bullshit that Thrawn tells them. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But yeah, they suck. Thrawn sucks. He's character assassinated. The Jedi suck. Sabayoth is beyond any redemption. I don't know why the fuck he's a Jedi and why people accept him. The other characters on the Outbound Flight, they all suck. Lorena is nothing. Yeah. It's really, really fucking bad. I guess the plus side... What even are the plus sides of this?
You can skip it.
You can skip it. There's no necessity. Like, even if people want to gaslight you into reading shit that is clearly unnecessary, this like is legit unnecessary, and nobody would tell you that it's required. So that's good. Obi-Wan and Anakin are like okay for 50 pages or 100. Yeah, that's really it. I don't know. The pros, it's fine. Yeah. Oh well. So that was that. Let's just very quickly speak about Mist Encounter. yeah, I mean, there's no cover really. There's like
It kind of is. It's the first page of the Venture Journal.
Which one
Yeah,
is it?
let me pull it up. It's a Venture, not the
Oh, yeah.
actual journal, but like the first page and the story.
Okay. Maybe if you have it, you can just.
Yeah, I can pull it up. We can look at some of the pictures that's in it while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like we did for, like, you. What the hell is it called? The Callista story. What was it?
Oh, Murder and Slush Time.
Murder and Slush Time. Yeah,
I
everyone's
remember
favorite.
that.
Okay, let me just go to the page of my totally legal online copy here.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, Mist Encounter. The title. It's an encounter. I think there was
In
a
the
mist.
mist. There was some mist somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like I might vaguely remember this being somewhere.
We can do some
Yeah.
zooming
Okay.
in.
Exactly. So that's the other part. It's the only picture I found on Wikipedia for it. So that's just kind of what I took. It's the Imperials fighting on the planet that they're on. I don't even know if that planet has a name. It probably has, but so yeah, I mean, it's a nice picture, I guess.
Well drawn, good colors.
Yeah.
Let me just go
to. It's. Oh, I guess it's one of the characters there, one of the Imperials. Or is that supposed to be? No, it's.
No, this isn't Thrawn. It's the guy looking at the dead stormtrooper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess.
And then where's the next? There's one more I know. There it is. Just a stormtrooper dying. Pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Stormtroopers dying are cool.
And I think that's it.
I think that's it. Hey, why not? Well, oh, there you go. That's
the park.
Bus Park. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And then that is Mosh Barris, apparently.
Okay.
And we can just like stop on the Thrawn picture. There he is. Look at him.
Thrawn Tarzan.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he was living in the wilderness, so that is what he would look like. Though he has no beard, so I guess maybe that's better. Yeah, hey, some nice little drawings. Can't say anything negatively about that. Yeah, the title is accurate, I guess. There is no German translation. So, yeah, let's just go through it. Yeah, so there is an Imperial Star Destroyer called the First. It's under the command of Voss Parks, so we know him from Vision of the Future. And they are chasing Booster Tarek. We are briefly, like, after Order 66 and the restructuring of the Galactic Republic. Apparently he knows, like, he has info about resistance groups forming already, so they want to catch him alive specifically. And then they follow him on a planet. The atmosphere is pretty nice here. I think I like that. They land on a unknown planet, I think, like with an alien camp. It's clear that it's from some alien race. They just don't find anyone there. But they keep getting attacked and robbed by nobody we're seeing yet. So the one who organizes the attacks, at some point we learned that it was the already exiled Thrawn. He either directly shot at or like at soldiers in general or stormtroopers later on, or he filled places that those soldiers would go to with special fermented berries. Those fermented berries like attracted specific predators, I guess, and they then had like grenades strapped around their stomach, which is how they jumped to their enemies, and then everything exploded because there are just random explosions all the time everywhere, and they kind of don't understand why for the beginning. I think I liked the improvised traps generally. I just didn't. I was like, they landed there, and immediately all of this was set up. I felt like it was a bit. I felt like Thrawn set this up a bit too quickly. I don't know if I'm supposed to believe this was set up like a long time ago. It doesn't seem like that to me. Like specifically taking predators, strapping grenades around them. But yeah, there you go. Bit too quick for me, but that's just it. Yeah, Park. So the guy who followed Booster Tarek here, he is very impressed with Thrawn's tactics. A bit too much for my taste, which I don't particularly like, especially after Outbound Flight. But sure, why not? Oh yeah, he kept killing. Oh yeah, there's a captain. He's called Captain Barris. He kept killing his regular troops to lure out, quote, those with full armor, meaning the stormtroopers. So he could kill a stormtrooper, take his armor, and then leave like in disguise. The thing is, I don't know what Thrawn was up to up until this point, so I don't understand why he would know stormtroopers exist or that this is how they operate. It's either Thrawn being Thrawn, or he knows this from someplace, but you don't get from where. Oh yeah, apparently he tried to he jammed the communication between the soldiers with their comlinks. I don't know. Yeah, once again, I don't know what he has been up to, because it was very obvious that he doesn't quite understand technology from the known galaxy, which is kind of the point. That's why he occasionally needs things explained to him. So I was like, how, unless this technology just by chance is exactly the same in the Chiss space, I don't understand why he would know how to jam communications.
Maybe one of the stormtroopers like took a piss in the woods, and then Thrawn saw that and was able to deduce how everything works.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I think that's how it works, because if you think about it, he probably saw the way that he was standing, the way he was holding his equipment, and from
it was
that
artfully done, right? So
exactly, and from that he could probably deduce what finger movements he usually does, which is also probably how he jams communication, and that's just how he learned that or something. Yeah, that's it. He gets offered, he sneaks into the place, and at some point people just find him. It's like, yeah, let's just watch what he's doing there. And at some point he gets brought to Park. He gets offered a position in the Imperial fleet. He kind of seems to accept. Barris isn't really quite happy with that, because the Emperor is non-human, so he doesn't feel like that would be a good idea to present him. They kind of just forget about Booster, which I don't understand, because it seemed like Booster was their initial reason to come here in the first place.
And then he just leaves.
Then he just leaves. They don't even kill him. Okay, I guess they didn't want to kill him because we need him alive. Sure. But then you had a chance, because you can't go anywhere. And you have stormtroopers, but then you just go. And this was it. This is Mist Encounter. It's just obviously the backstory, how Thrawn finds through the Empire. I think for me this was more of a mixed bag. I liked the atmosphere. I think the little tactical thing were pretty nice. I didn't think they quite fit Thrawn, though, at least not where he's supposed to be in his life yet. Booster being forgotten was just kind of weird. It also doesn't really make sense. And yeah, I didn't know what to give this out of 10 yet, but maybe you have something.
I was gonna give it like a 6.5 or a 7. Yeah, maybe 7. I don't know.
Yeah, 6.5 to 7, around that.
Yeah, this was written with just the Thrawn trilogy in mind at this point. Maybe the early stages of Hand of Thrawn, but
okay. Yeah, sure. So you don't.
I think it works.
Yeah, so you don't quite know. Yeah, exactly, because if Outbound Flight wasn't written yet, you don't know the level of knowledge that Thrawn has with the technology of this universe. So that makes this.
I guess that makes another problem with Outbound Flight.
Yeah, what a surprise! I didn't expect Outbound Flight to turn out worse than it did, but there you go. Yeah, no, then thinking about this now, I didn't know that it came out before. Yeah, that makes more sense then. Sure, yeah, because you don't know, and you can reasonably expect, sure, Thrawn knows this at this point. Okay, yeah, I can accept this. So 7 probably is fair. 6.57 somewhere. Yeah, that was Mist Encounter. And that also was the end of this stream because we are done with what we wanted to talk about today. Oh, Jesus, okay. Well, that's it, really. I don't think I have anything more to say. I don't think you have either. So we're just gonna leave this for today. Next stream, I don't think we will stream next Sunday because I'm gonna have like slowly moving towards next year. I will be a bit more busy and I can't quite keep up our neck break pace anymore. I could.
We need a backlog. Is what we need.
Yep. That's a problem. So the next stream probably will be, and I think I'll set it up so like people see when they go onto my channel. Next stream, I think we'll do it December 23rd. I think this will be because that's the obviously we won't do 24th. 10th, yeah, next week I won't like. Also, yeah, you're gonna be busy, so like I don't feel like doing this alone. There's no rush to get this out of the way so quickly. 17th, I can't. I'm not there. So I'm not going to be here on the 17th. And yeah, 24th makes no sense, obviously. So 23rd is going to be the stream. I think still same time, though, just 23rd instead of Sunday. And it'll be about Scourge and Jedi Academy Leviathan. Oh, boy. But Scourge is pretty nice so far, so I'm looking forward to see how this ends and probably also to covering it.
It means we end the year with Junior Jedi Knights. That's nice. And then
yeah, we should be able to do that. Yeah,
on the 30th.
How many Junior Jedi? Was it 6 parts?
6.
Like
yes.
6. That should be manageable. Yeah, 30th. Exactly. Obviously, once again, we won't stream on 31st because everyone will have better things to do, including the 2 of us, I feel like. So yeah, 30th, and that should be Junior Jedi Knights then. So we can leave on what people tell me is a high note, which is good. And yeah, afterwards we'll see then when we've reached those 2 streams. So yeah, if you've been here for this long, thanks for listening. Thanks for staying so long, and see you next time. Bye-bye.